And good evening, Royals fans, and we welcome you back inside the Redeemer Athletic Center here in Ancash. If you were with my friend Jared Meyer on the women's stream, we welcome you back. And if not, we got a barn burner of a matchup tonight. The Redeemer Royals men's basketball team back in action following their weekend trip to London, where they dropped a tough result to the Fanshawe Falcons. They come into this game 2-9 in desperate need of a win against one of the only teams that they can still surpass in their quest to make it back into the OCAA men's basketball playoffs. The visitors today, the Niagara Knights, come into this game following one of their best wins of the season as they took down the Mohawk Mountaineers on a week ago today, on Wednesday. Score of 88-79, a back and forth affair. And Niagara comes into this game 5-8, sitting comfortably in 8th place in the OCAA West in a playoff spot, trying to keep hold of that, with Redeemer sitting in 9th on the outside looking in. A couple of key points of this game, what we will get to, includes a couple of returning players. If you caught any of that action on Saturday, you would have noticed that Redeemer was short a couple bodies, but for this game, 3 key players that will make their return to the lineup, highlighted, of course, by Redeemer's leading scorer and leading scorer across the entire OCAA, Parker Davis, makes his return for the first time this semester, and he'll be back in the starting lineup. A couple other key additions that were absent on Saturday include Elijah Ona, the breakout first-year guard. He will be returning following a thigh injury, which kept him out of action on Saturday. And on top of that, we will also see the addition of Ty Story, who was unavailable last Saturday. And as we get set to go here, the Royals just finishing up their warm-up. Niagara going over some last-minute things in their huddle. Let's get to the keys of the game, brought to you by Wes Skilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our Final Score updates this season. First key to the game, three-pointers. Niagara, they shoot more three-pointers than most teams in the OCAA, averaging more three-pointers than all but 2 other teams. Meanwhile, Redeemer allows more three-pointers than any other team in the OCAA, and this was clearly on display in their last matchup back in November, when Niagara knocked down 14 shots from beyond the arc, shooting a blistering 39% in that one. Key players to look out for in this regard for Niagara, of course, are going to be their 4 top scorers: Skylar Samuel, Caden Moore, Chris Spahn, and Joseph Buckley. It'll be easy to remember them, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. And Redeemer is going to need to keep Niagara at bay if they want to stay in this game, which does lead into our second key to the game: close quarters. Redeemer needs to close quarters. It's been evident, as we saw in their game against Fanshawe. They had a tough second quarter, set off the game for the rest of the contest when they were chasing Fanshawe down from behind, and you can even look back at their game against Niagara in November. Very close throughout, but a late fourth quarter run, Redeemer was outscored 26-10, which ultimately led to their defeat by a 21-point margin. And finally, our third key to the game, and it is spread the ball. Play as deep as you can. If you are Redeemer, a lot of bodies that will be returning to the lineup, which will contrast the fact that they only played 8 guys against Fanshawe over the weekend. Of course, heavy minutes from a lot of key guys, including Jason Oswomo, Tomas Barbosa, who played all but 5 minutes in that one. And that will contrast Niagara, who also played 8 guys deep. So for Coach Hopkins and for Coach Brown, if they can get this team running quickly, give guys short rests, quick shifts, spread the ball around, Redeemer is going to need that if they want to get this win in what is going to be a massive playoff implication. And so just getting set to go here for this Wednesday night matchup. Cold weather outside, but Redeemer is going to need a hot start and a hot finish to this season if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. Coming into this game, of course, Redeemer sits 2-9. As we mentioned in the pregame, Niagara, one of the two teams that they are able to surpass, mathematically speaking. They're going to need a win today, and that is almost certain. They're also going to need to take at least 2, but most likely 3 games out of their next 4. And, of course, that's going to prove to be a very tall order, as they've got a road matchup against Humber, a road matchup against Canadore, and, of course, 2 weekends from today, a back-to-back to finish the season at home against Lambton and St. Clair, respectively. The starting lineups for Niagara, some familiar players. Skylar Samuel starts in addition to Joseph Buckley, who is their leading scorer. He had 26 points on 7 of 11 shooting in their matchup against Mohawk last week. And he will certainly be one of the players to watch. He's one of the best three-point shooters in the OCAA. Shoots at a remarkable 40% clip on the year. He, of course, attempts more three-pointers than anybody else on this team, averaging just under 17 points per game. We'll also see Carter Brown starting for Niagara in what will be his first start of the season. Meanwhile, for Redeemer, we got Parker Davis making his return to the Redeemer starting lineup. Redeemer, no stranger to his production, averaging 25.5 points per game. His first appearance of this semester, and his first appearance alongside the longtime Redeemer veteran Armin Fazelapour, has had a fantastic start of the semester, averaging over 18 points per game to go along with 7 rebounds. Jackson Thackeray, Gabe Della Foresta make up the Royals backcourt, while Ty Story gets the start for the Royals, who are in their all-white today. And it'll be Difference Igbenehi who will be in the game for Niagara. He gets his second consecutive start. And then, of course, we will also see that is number 2, Caden Moore. So just set to go here, Redeemer from right to left, Niagara from left to right in the all blues. And I just want to correct myself. Chris Spahn is the number 3, guarded by Jackson Thackeray here on the tip. It'll be Fazelapour against Igbenehi, and we are underway. Redeemer loses the tip. It'll be Spahn with the basketball. He'll drive in right away on Thackeray. No good. The rebound bounces out. Niagara retains possession. It'll be at the perimeter for Samuel. 14 on the shot clock. Picks up his dribble. And a swing play here. This is Buckley. Had 26 points, as we mentioned, and he knocks down a triple right on cue. And if you're Redeemer, that's going to be one of the keys to the game, as we mentioned. Keep Niagara away from those three-point shots where they shoot it better than almost anybody in the OCAA. Redeemer looking to answer back quickly here. Davis is going to drive. He gets inside, goes into contact. No call taken here by Niagara. Quick pace to start this game. Bound controls it and passes it off the foot of Parker Davis. So we'll stay on this side. We mentioned Joseph Buckley having a fantastic game. He shoots on almost a 50-40-20 clip. Just not quite there in the total field goals percentage, but shoots 86% from the free throw line as well. So a 3-level score for Niagara. He's going to be a player to watch, and we'll see who guards him. Right now it is Thackeray. At least it wasn't that first possession. That shot there, no good. Bound can't get the rebound. Davis controls it for Redeemer. Coming down in transition. A minute gone by. Fakes the handoff. Switch on by Samuel. Gets inside to Fazelapour. Backdoor cut from Davis. Not there. Fazelapour going into help. Fading. Puts up the 2 and knocks it down over top of Spahn. A nice bucket for Fazelapour. His first attempt of the game. And Redeemer is on the board. Fazelapour, he had 14 points in a bit of a lower production game. He got into some foul trouble against Fanshawe on Saturday. Here's a kick to the corner. 3-point shot from the right corner. No good. Thackeray gets the rebound. That miss there coming from Samuel. Thackeray comes down with the ball here. Drives to his right against Igbenehi. Drive coming from Davis. Kicks it across. Della Foresta driving to his left. Help there. Della Foresta short on the finish. Niagara's got numbers forward. Here comes Buckley driving. Goes up with the right hand and gets the roll over top of Fazelapour. Buckley's got 5 points. Redeemer trying to attack the other way quickly. Here's Davis. Spots up for 3 and can't get it to go. And a nice box out there by a couple Niagara players, and they'll try push in transition again. That one off the foot of Igbeneghy. So that'll be a turnover in the full court. A 5-2 start to the game for Niagara, and we're just over 2 minutes in. And we've seen both teams try their luck from deep. Niagara, of course, knocking down that first one from Buckley, who has all the points in the game for Niagara. We'll see a horns look here. Fazelapour setting the screen. Davis doesn't take it, keeps control. Now uses the screen. Back to Della Foresta, coming up off the top fade. Gets inside. A charge is going to be taken. That's a brilliant defensive play. And that's Chris Spahn right there to take the charge as Della Foresta was gathering and was looking to kick it out to the left wing where he had a shooter open. But Spahn gets there in time to take the charge. Chris Spahn making a nice play there. He's the second-year guard. Listed out of Atlanta, Georgia. Taking up one of those international player roster spots on this Niagara team. And he's got the ball here. He'll launch it from 3, and he knocks it down. So a nice sequence there. Niagara's 2 for 3 from beyond the arc to start the game. And as we mentioned, it's going to play a huge role. And Niagara is getting their looks from 3 early. Redeemer now needing to answer back, down 6. Here's Fazelapour driving to his right, leaves it behind him. Thackeray for 3, no good. Looked good from him, but he couldn't get the shooter's bounce. So Redeemer not able to match it. Niagara going to go right back to it there. That was Spahn again, no good. A heat check. Davis gets the rebound. He'll go down in transition. Right down Main Street to put in the layup. And Davis is on the board for the first time this semester. The OCAA leading scorer has got 2 points to start this one. Redeemer is now down by 4. Here's Buckley going up against Thackeray. He'll drive him into the free throw line. Puts up a fading jumper. No good. Thackeray coming back to get the rebound, and he does. So good one-on-one defense there by Thackeray, one of Redeemer's better on-ball defenders. And they'll try to answer back in the half court offensively. Here's Davis. He will step into a 3 from the same spot as his last attempt. No good. Rebounded there by Bones. So Redeemer 0 for 3 to start the game from downtown. Trying to match Niagara's hot clip. Not working out for them so far. Here's an interior pass. This will be different. Igbeneghy going up. No good. Good defense there by Story, but the rebound's corralled by Niagara. Samuel pulled it down. Went back up, but he lost it on the way up. And so Redeemer will retain possession. Niagara making a couple changes here. And there's going to be Noah Lee checking into the game. And we're going to see a second big. That's going to be Lado Lakou, who gets into the game for the Knights. Lakou had a pretty solid game against Mohawk, albeit he did not get on the scoreboard, but had 7 rebounds coming off the bench. This is going to be a turnover for Redeemer on the ensuing possession. We've seen some change of personnel here for them as well. Tomas Barbosa, the leading scorer from Saturday's game, in, along with Elijah Ono, who missed that game. And King Stewart in the game to guard Igbeneghy. Here's a kick up top. Samuel trying to drive Della Foresta inside. Igbeneghy outside, not taking the 3. He'll try to drive King Stewart down. King Stewart lets him get in under the rim, and he fouls the shooter. So Niagara will have their first free throws of the game. Davis and Ty Story check right back in, and they'll replace Della Foresta and Fazelapour, who both started. So difference, Igbeneghy will go to the line. Not a fantastic free throw shooter. Shoots just above 50% on the year. But he was pretty solid in their game against Mohawk. 9 points, 8 rebounds, and he knocks down the second of 2 to give Niagara a 5-point lead. So a quick start to this game. Crucial for playoff positioning for Redeemer. Davis will kick this back up to Barbosa. And now he'll come off the handoff from King Stewart. Barbosa thought about the 3, kicks it back up to Davis. 8 on the shot clock. Davis calling for the screen. Here it is from Story. Davis gets the switch on Igbeneghy. Good defense by the big on the outside. Davis has to put up a shot off the front rim and rebounded by the Knights. Coming down the other way. Story trying to guard Igbeneghy in the full court. And a strip there from King Stewart. Kicks it back out to Samuel for 3, and he knocks it down. And another 3-pointer for the Knights. They are stroking it from deep today. And they're off to a very quick start. And now Story gets it underneath. That's a nice play there from Elijah Ona to locate his big underneath. short, and Davis pulls down the rebound. Buckley took that one confidently in stride, but fortunately for the Royals, it's no good. Davis going to get the switch now. Samuel guarding him. Kicks it back up to Ona. Barbosa thinking about going backdoor. Ona's driving on lead. Jump stop. Kicks it back out. Barbosa attacking the long closeout. Nice dish inside. Story with patience. Goes up. Following the pump fake. Gets Lakou jumping in the air. And Story commits... Lakou commits the foul on Story, who will go to the line. And a nice bit of offense there from Redeemer. The extra pass, the kick out, the second drive. Barbosa made a great read. And Story is on the benefiting end of that. So he'll go to the line. Story, the third-year forward out of Smiths Falls. He's averaged 7.5 points per game. Didn't get to see much of him until the second semester began. And even then, he's kind of been in and out of the lineup. But he's had a pretty good start to the season. Knocks down 2 for 2. And so Redeemer's now down by 4, showing a little bit of pressure here. Ona and Barbosa in the backcourt. This is Samuel with it. He'll drive on. Ona gets by. Tries to sneak inside. Kick out. Here's a three-pointer. And more. Or Spawn, sorry. That's Chris Spawn. Knocks down another 3. Redeemer now coming the other way. A nice take by King Stewart, so they'll answer back. They'll trade the 3 for the 2, but the three-pointers continue to fall. Spawn has his second. Here's a drive from Samuel. Picks up his dribble. Kicks it out. This is Lee. Driving against King Stewart. Guard on big. Gets inside. That's a nice piece of footwork there from Noah Lee, who gets on the board. A nice turnaround bucket over top of King Stewart. Noah Lee had 17 points in the game against Mohawk, and now here's a 3 the other way. That's Elijah Ona, no good, short on the three-pointer. And we've got a foul here on the rebound. Story pulled it down on the offensive side. It'll be a foul on Niagara. That's going to go against Chris Spawn. So Spawn has 2 3-pointers in this game, and he's also drawn a charge. He'll pick up his first personal foul. So Davis will inbound here for the Royals. Story checks out. Jason Oswomo into the game. Here's the shot following the inbounds play. It's a little handoff action, and Davis picks it up and goes right up from 15 feet. We know he can knock down that shot from the short corner, and he's fouled in the process. So Davis is going to go to the line, fouled on a bit of a longer 2. Davis, of course, leads the OCAA in scoring. He's been very efficient from the free throw line. Shoots 81% on the year, 42% overall. It's from 3 where he hasn't really been able to hit his stride this season, but is certainly one of the more prolific scorers in the OCAA, and Redeemer's going to be thrilled to have him back. He knocks down the first. And so we talked about how Niagara was able to capitalize on the three-point opportunities in their last game. They had 14 makes. They've already got 4 in this one. We got 3 minutes to go in the first quarter here. Here's King Stewart. He'll pull down this offensive rebound. He's going to go up for 2. A strong take, can't finish. Fazellapur gets it. Fazellapur goes up, and he gets it to go. Plus the foul. Armin Fazellapur conquering the paint, putting it in. Plus the foul. Redeemer has a chance to get within 3. And folks, Redeemer's got themselves almost a 5-0 run. The ball hasn't even gone to the other side of the court. Fazellapur can't make the free throw, but it's pulled down by King Stewart again, as he had on the last free throw attempt. Now here's Ona driving, gets inside the finger roll, and puts it in. Elijah Ona makes it a 1-possession game. Timeout called by Laquan Hilton. And we went from 17-10 to 17-15. All on one side. Multiple offensive rebounds. And we've talked this season, guys, about Redeemer struggling to keep teams off the offensive glass. And this time, it's the Royals who are taking that right back to Niagara. And it's a 2-point game now with 2:53 to go in the first quarter. And just a reminder, folks, tonight's Redeemer Rose basketball game proudly brought to you by Finn Pools, a proud sponsor of your Royals and the make a splash move of the game. For over 25 years, Finn Pools has been transforming backyards with custom designs, expert installations, and trusted maintenance, delivering top quality products they stand behind. From concept to completion, they believe kindness matters and every project deserves excellence. Visit finpools.ca to learn more or start your next pool project today. Thank you to Finn Pools, as always, for sponsoring the Redeemer Royals. And certainly maybe a candidate for the Finn Pools make a splash move of the game right there. Elijah Ona attacking the long closeout following the kick out from King Stewart, who had a sequence of offensive rebounds on missed free throws. And Ona puts it in for 2. So Ona, who of course missed Saturday's game against Fanshawe, he'll be a guy that Coach Stephen Hopkins is going to be very happy to have back. And he's here with the Swomo guarding Niagara in the backcourt. That ball's picked up by Steven Mesidor, who's checked into the game for the first time. He'll try and facilitate the offense here for Niagara. 10 on the shot clock. 2 high post look with Noah Lee. And this is Igbenahi back in the game. He'll hand it off. Good tip there by King Stewart. 2-on-1 the other way. Fazellapur drops it off for Ona, who goes up for 2. And we are tied. And a turnover turning into points. Redeemer brings it level. And a good job guarding that big to guard handoff. Here's Lee taking it down the other way. Goes up and puts it in for 2. Noah Lee, his second made field goal of the game. That's a heck of a move to get to the basket. And a bit of a crowd silencer here as Redeemer was on a 7-0 run. Here's King Stewart, gets inside, and that's a nice move. I tell you, against Igbenahi the big, King Stewart makes a nice move to the rim and puts it in with the right hand. And right back to a tie game. Back and forth these teams go. Here's the kick out across to Bone. And a 3-point shot from the right wing. That one was taken by Mesidor as he tried to put it over top of Fazellapur. And Fazellapur more than happy to let that go out of bounds. So Redeemer a chance to take the lead here. 1:40 to go in the first quarter. Here comes Ona fading from his right. Almost got that to go. And an empty possession for the Royals. They need to get back now. Here's Bowd. Kicks it across. Thought about the 3 again was Mesidor and throws that one. That pass got away from him as he was looking for Buckley coming off the flex cut. And so another turnover for Niagara. As we're tied at 19. Redeemer starting to find their mark from the field. 8 of 19 in this first quarter to go up against Niagara 7 of 15. But of course, yet to find their first mark from beyond the arc, which is an area of the floor where Niagara started off with an absolute heater. We got Cole Arnold in the game. He's the leader in assists for this Royals team. We'll see his first minutes of this one. He's got it here now, guarded by Bowd. Entry pass to Fazellapur, turn and shot, and that's a rhythm jumper for Armin Fazellapur. And Redeemer takes the lead. And that'll be an assist there for Arnold right on cue. Here's Lee now guarded by Arnold. Skips inside, a brilliant back cut there. Good patience underneath, but that pass from Samuel was trying to give up a great shot for an even greater look, but Igbenahi couldn't reel in the backdoor pass, and it'll be back-to-back turnovers here for Niagara. Under a minute to go. Arnold bringing the ball up, guarded by Lee. Fazellapur's had a pretty good start to this game. 6 points. He'll drive inside. Kicks it back out. Oswomo fumbled it at first. Drives to his left. His strong hand. Can't get it to go. Story, who's back in. Battling for that rebound. Niagara trying to push before Redeemer can get set. This is Buckley. Steps through. Reverse pass. Samuel gets Davis to lift. Drives inside. Puts up a 2. No good. Good D by the Royals. No foul. Here's Story in transition. Arnold picks up his dribble. Entry pass. Story with a bit of a mismatch. Guarded by Bound here. And a double team comes. And it was timely, but thankfully for Ty Story, that ball goes off of Buckley, who came from the opposite block to double team Story, who was trying to back down Carter Bound and get a good look from 2. So 15 on the shot clock. 2-second differential between the game and shot clocks. It'll be a Swomo to inbound. Arnold guarded by Buckley, skips it across. Davis calling for the screen. Now sends it away. Shot clock down to 7. Guarded by Bound. Here comes the screen. Davis gets the switch. Kicks inside. Here's Fazellapur for 2. And a block charge decision goes the way of the Royals. As it looked like Difference Igbenahi made it there in time as Fazellapur was cutting to the rim following the roll, or rolling to the rim following the screen, sorry. And Davis found him just in time. McBenney picks up another foul, and he will come out of the game. So 2 players to look out for Niagara, Chris Spann and Difference McBenney, now both with 2 fouls here in the first quarter. Fazellapur will knock down the first free throw as he missed his first following the and one. So he's a chance to get up to 8 points in the quarter if he can knock this one down. Niagara has 3.6 seconds to try and put something up the other way. Fazellapur good on both. Niagara might try to do something deep. We're going to see a double team here on the near side on Buckley. This is going to be Lee driving, steps up, kicks up 3, and that one goes off the back rim. And based on Niagara's start from beyond the arc, we wouldn't have been too surprised to see that one fall, but it does not. Redeemer takes a solid 13-2 run to end this first quarter. They lead the Niagara Knights 23-19. And Armin Fazellapur, with those 2 free throws, leads all scorers with 8 points. While for Niagara, Chris Spann, with those 2 3-pointers that he made, has 6. But he also has 2 fouls, and it's unlikely we'll see him in the second quarter. So a good showing for Redeemer in this first quarter. We'll take a quick break at the quarter break and be back here at Redeemer. So back ready to go here, quarter number 2. Here at the Redeemer Gymnasium. Redeemer going on a 13-2 run to finish off that first quarter. Went from being down 7 to ending the quarter with a 4-point lead. One of the more productive quarters we've seen for the Royals, who average just under 75 points per game. They put up 23 on Niagara. They did it on a pretty efficient performance. Here's Fazellapur, gets back inside. The leading scorer in that first quarter, kick back out. A Swomo for 3, no good. Off the left side of the rim. Rebound, battled for, goes off a couple players. Niagara able to take control of it. That's Fisher Jackson, who's getting his first action of the game. And Niagara going pretty deep here. They'll also bring in Carter Bound. And here's Lee driving, gets inside. The foul occurring before the shot, but they're still going to say 2 free throws here. And Noah Lee, who's been a bit of a spark plug, 2 for 2 on 2 made field goals, will get his first chance from the free throw line in this game. Niagara's free throw percentage right around middle of the pack, shooting just under 65% on the season, which can be contrasted heavily against their 3-point percentage, and we saw that in the first quarter. They are 4th in the league on 3-point percentage, and Noah Lee knocks down 2 for 2 to start the game. Lee, of course, had 17 points in that win last week against Mohawk. Was second just behind Joseph Buckley, and he came off the bench doing it on 26 minutes. So here's Redeemer now, up by 2. Davis driving to his right on the baseline. The jumper is short. Rebounded by Niagara. It's going to stay Niagara basketball as it goes out of bounds. Fazellapur was in the vicinity. So that shot from Davis, no good. Still trying to find his stride. 1 for 5 to start this game from the field. But we're seeing a little bit of the spreading of the ball, as we talked about pregame, come into effect here. Players like Elijah Ona, Caden King-Stewart, and Story and Fazellapur, as we know inside, going to be key players to watch for Redeemer's offense. This will be Buckley, though. He'll be a key for Niagara's offense. He's back in the game. and he knocked down that big three and had the two earlier. So here's a skip pass, open shot from the left corner. That one is good, and that's Skylar Samuel who knocks down the triple, and he gets his second made three-pointer of the game. And just like that, Niagara's back in front, and they do so by knocking down another from downtown. Here's Suomo trying to answer back. Veselapur will launch one. That one's no good. So Redeemer still unable to take the lid off the basket from downtown. Here comes Niagara now up by one. Lee getting inside. Solid contact there. No foul. Battle for the rebound taken by Niagara. It was brought down by Fisher Jackson, who put up a little baby hook and was fouled. So it's going to go against Cole Arnold here. It'll be his first foul of the game. It will send Fisher Jackson to the line. Jackson doesn't see too many opportunities from the free throw line. He's yet to knock down a free throw this season. He's only played in 7 games. But a nice opportunity to contribute here for the Knights in a pretty important game. They can more or less eliminate Redeemer from playoff contention, and in doing so, confirm or clinch a playoff spot for themselves. The seed that they will get in the playoffs, of course, would still need to be determined, but they need to take care of business here first. Here comes Barbosa for Redeemer. A nice kick pass. Veselapur's open, gets his feet underneath him and knocks it down, and Redeemer has their first made three-point basket, and it comes off of a nice assist from Barbosa. So Veselapur is up to double digits already in this one. Redeemer's back in front. Here's a fading jumper and an answer from Carter Bound to get his first points of the game. And Niagara takes the lead. Back and forth we go. The third lead change of this second quarter. Here comes Della Foresta. Gets inside. Skip pass. Veselapur extra to Ona in the corner. No good. Couldn't get the roll. And a nice possession for the Royals goes empty. Niagara trying to push now. They got bodies. 3-on-2. Skip pass. Lee will post up for 3. Got it. Back and forth. The triples go. Niagara continuing to be hot from downtown. Their 6th made three-pointer of this game. Two possession lead now. Here's Barbosa. Deep 2. Gets it to go. And how about that? Thomas Barbosa getting on the board. 2-point game. Another 3. No good. That one coming from Samuel. He took his time, had a good look at it from the top of the key. Here's Veselapur now driving inside, gets a good matchup against Noah Lee, puts up the 2 and gets it. Armin Veselapur on fire, 13 points in the first half. Went one-on-one with a favorable matchup, and we're tied at 30. Here is Bowd. Kicks it into the corner. Another 3 off the side of the backboard. That's Veselapur pulling it down. He'll try and attack in transition. Bounce pass to Ona. Gets it in off the backboard. Veselapur asking for a sub. He's been all over the court this game. 13 points, 2 assists. And Ona's got 6 points. Redeemer up by 2. This is Buckley. Guarded by Ona. Screen's coming. Kicks it back to Lee, who's driving inside. Goes in, and the foul is called. That's going to be an offensive foul. And Veselapur making plays on both sides. Draws the charge. It'll be a turnover. Dead ball turnover for the Knights. Veselapur will come off. And we got a timeout. So a flurry of action to start this second quarter. Both teams going back and forth. Yet another lead change. Redeemer leads 32-30. Timeout called by the Royals, and Coach Hopkins eager to give his team a bit of a rest here. Needing to lock down on those three-point shots, those three-point shooters coming from all sides of the court. Of course, the players that we expect, Chris Spann, Joseph Buckley, Samuel, but of course Noah Lee knocking one down too. He leads the Knights with 9 points. And Redeemer Royals basketball would like to thank Wes Shilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our Final Score updates this season. Wes is passionate about helping families find a place to call home. So whether you're buying or selling, trust experience and integrity. Trust Wes Skilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty. Thank you, Wes, for your ongoing support of Redeemer Royals Athletics. And so Redeemer spreading the ball around the floor, as we mentioned, was going to be a key factor in this one. They've gone 10 players deep in this game. And certainly that's going to be a factor moving forward with Chris Spann and Difference Igbenahi on the bench in foul trouble. Only Cole Arnold has 2 fouls for Redeemer as he sits on the bench. Here's a turnover to start this sequence of play, but that pass goes over the head of Joseph Buckley. So it'll be another turnover for the Knights. They've turned the ball over much more than the Royals have, and that's been a key difference for Redeemer. They've been able to capitalize on a lot of those chances as they lead by 2 points here, under 6 minutes to go. Story with a good matchup inside, guarded by Lecou. Kicks it back out. Barbosa will put up a 3. No good. Looked good from our angle up here, but it fell just short, so it'll go out of bounds. Spann will inbound for Niagara. He's in the game with 2 fouls. And he's out there with Mesidor in the backcourt as Redeemer showing a bit of a zone full court press here. Mesidor calling for the screen from Lecou. Takes it. No switch for Redeemer. They stay on their men. Now a switch coming. Buckley draws the switch. Kick back out. 3-pointer. Samuel, no good, short. And Owen is going to get called for a foul here on the box out as Mesidor went flying into the padding underneath the basket. And there might be a discussion here about potentially calling this an unsporting foul. We'll see if that's the decision, and indeed it is. So Elijah Ona deemed to have made a unnecessary non-basketball play in that box out. So not only will Niagara get 2 free throws here, it'll also go down as a technical foul for Ona, who's had a pretty good start to this game. 6 points, his first foul. He has 3 assists as well, but he has sent Steven Mesidor to the line to shoot 2. Mesidor comes into this game for Niagara after having a decent showing against Mohawk with 16 minutes played. He shot 4 for 5 from the field with 11 points in the game. So he's been a bit of a role player for this Niagara team, averaging just under 6 points per game in the season, but seeing a bit of an increased role with the absence of some of their other players, including Caden Moore. So Redeemer dodges the bullet there after the unsporting foul, as Mesidor was unable to knock down either free throws, and Niagara's turned the ball over again in the half court. So Redeemer will take possession. Ona stays in the game. He's got King Stewart setting a screen for him here. And now picks up his dribble. That's going to go off the hand of Spann, out of bounds. Redeemer will retain possession on this side. 16 seconds on the shot clock. Davis will inbound here. Davis and Barbosa lead this Redeemer team in field goal attempts. A bulk of the scoring opportunities do go through those 2 guys, especially in the first semester. Here's Davis, gets inside. Oh, got a couple guys in the air, had a good look at it as the help did not stay, but he can't finish. Niagara in transition, a nice dish inside to Spann for 2. Buckley with the assist. And so Chris Spann back on the board after those 2 made 3-pointers in the first quarter. And Niagara brings us back level. A skip pass from Barbosa, ill-advised as, wow. The ability to keep it in, he paid the price for it. It'll be Redeemer basketball as Chris Spann went flying into the Redeemer bench, took a couple chairs out in the process. He looks to be okay. And so Redeemer will have 15 seconds on the shot clock here in a tie game. Fazellapur is going to come back in. We're also going to see Caleb Connors get his first action in this one. Connors did not have any points in their last matchup against Niagara, although he was in the starting lineup for them. Connors did get 27 minutes and 4 points in their game against Fanshawe, so he's seen an increased role with some of the injuries to the Royals players, but gets his first action here in this crucial game late in the season. This will be Buckley dancing on the outside, kicks it inside. Samuel trying to go up against Fazellapur, picks up his dribble, dishes it inside. That's going to go off the hands of Lecou. So another turnover for Niagara here as they throw that one away. Good defense a stifling half-court defense as we would expect to see from Redeemer here. Here's Connors now. Fazellapur going on the flare screen. Connors can't find a man, kicks it out, and that's a turnover. A live ball turnover for the Royals. Lakou going up for two, blocked by Fazellapur, but he is called for the foul. And as we saw in the matchup last week, on Saturday against Fanshawe, Fazellapur, who made a pretty highlight reel block in that one, that was called a foul, might be looking at something similar here, as it looked like there was very little contact, but yet the official on this near side does call the foul. So Lakou goes to the line, misses the first. Niagara, as we mentioned, not a fantastic free throw shooting team, but certainly not among the OCAA's worst. They're off to a pretty poor start in this one, shooting at 50%, 5 of 10. Of course, we often contrast that with Redeemer, as they shoot more free throws in the OCAA than anybody, and are among the top 3 in made free throw percentage. So here's Davis, kicks it inside to King Stewart, looking for an outlet. 9 seconds to shoot. Davis with the basketball. He'll kick it inside. Fazellapur looking for it. It's turned over, but Connors gets a hand on it. So Redeemer will keep it on this side. Kicked inside. Davis under the basket, goes up for two. And contact there from Lakou, not called. Niagara trying to push. A skip pass to Mesidor. Makes a spin move on Fazellapur. Gives it off. And that's blocked. But a foul is called late. And it'll be interesting to see what this call is for. It's going to be on Fazellapur. And the problem here is that that's going to be Fazellapur's second foul. And he's Redeemer's leading scorer. So we're going to see Ty Story come in to replace the starting forward for Redeemer. And an interesting dynamic there. There were multiple Royals in the area. And the foul was called well after the shot was attempted by Buckley. But Buckley will go to the line, nonetheless, for his first free throw attempts of this game. Buckley, the leading scorer for this Niagara team, averaging under 17 points, just under 17 points per game. He was massive in their win against Mohawk with, of course, 26 points, where he was 8 for 9 from the free throw line. And he's got his first 2 made free throws in this one. So 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Redeemer down by 3. Another lead change happening here. Here's Story on the inside. Gets a couple Knights to jump. Story still with it. Goes up for 2. Bounces up the back rim. Tipped in the air. King Stewart can't get it to go. And now he'll give it up again. Story comes up with the rebound. Goes up himself. And a foul is called. So a turnover in the backcourt. Buckley couldn't control the outlet pass. Story ends up with the ball. Looks off King Stewart. Goes up for 2 himself. And the foul is called. So Story will head back to the line. A chance to bring the Royals within 1 point here with 3:05 to go. Story was 2 for 2 on his first trip. And this is interesting here because it's going to be called on the baseline. And it'll be interesting to see exactly why. I'd be interested for an explanation on this. It looked almost certain that Story was going up when the contact was made. So Davis now, 9 seconds to shoot on the shortened shot clock. Here's Davis driving, crossover from right to left, goes up for 2. He was held by Samuel as Davis blew by him. So Samuel commits the foul. This one almost certainly will be in the act of shooting, and indeed Davis is at the line ready to shoot 2. So Stephen Mesidor comes out for Niagara, replaced by Bound. Bound's got just 2 points in this one. Parker Davis will head back to the line. He was 1 for 2 his first trip, and he's short on this one. We mentioned Davis getting his first action of this semester after having to sit out for the first couple of games with an injury. He was, of course, brilliant, as we all know, in the first semester, but he's gotten off to a bit of a slow start here. 1 for 9 from the field, but he knocks down the second of 2 free throws to bring the Royals within 2. Connors still in the game, guarding the ball. And now Barbosa guarding Bound. Double team coming from Connors. Bound picks it up in the coffin corner. And Redeemer coming up with the steal. Barbosa now, 3-on-3. Kicks it to Davis in the corner. Pulls up for an early 3. Good! And Parker Davis knocks it down. Laquan Hilton calls his second time out of the half. Redeemer is back in front We got another lead change. It's a 1-point game and a quick transition three-pointer coming out of the turnover created by a timely double team. Caleb Connors and Thomas Barbosa converging on Carter Bound, who turns the ball over. And then quickly the other way, Barbosa picking up the assist. And Redeemer lights it up from downtown. Davis starting to get his rhythm with 7 points. So back underway here, coming off of the three made by Parker Davis. He'll come up as a trap. Niagara able to beat that zone high press. Carter Bound with the basketball now, and Connors is going to get called for the foul. And that's going to send Bound to the free throw line as Niagara now in the bonus. Connors putting two hands on the ball handler there, and that's one thing, a very easy rule as a ball defender. You can have one hand on him, but not two. And right on cue, the foul is called. It'll be the first of the game called on Connors. Bound at the free throw line. Did not have a integral role in their win against Mohawk on last Wednesday. And it's also one of Bound's first free throw attempts. So he's no good on the second, but he's able to tie this game. So all knotted up at 36, 2:19 to go, second quarter. Redeemer desperate for a win to remain in playoff contention. Here's Barbosa up top. Story kicks it right back out. Barbosa guarded by Bound, not allowing him to go middle. Screen comes middle by Story. And that's going to be a turnover as Redeemer will be guilty of the over and back. So a empty possession there for the Royals. It results in a turnover. Barbosa couldn't really get anything going. But if you're going to turn the ball over, better to be a dead ball turnover than a live ball turnover, especially with this Niagara team. Niagara seems to have cooled down a little bit from three, but Redeemer needs to stay vigilant here. And right on cue, a three-pointer from Noah Lee. And you talk about an announcer's jinx if you ever saw one. Noah Lee with a circus three-pointer. Put that one up. It was under heavy pressure, but knocks down his second deep range jumper of the game. Is up to 12 points. And Niagara is back in front. And I take it back, folks. It's going to be called a two-pointer as his foot was ruled to be on the line. So now here's King Stewart guarded by Lee, who's 4 for 5 from 2 in the game. And there's a three-pointer. Gabe Della Foresta knocking one down. A player that had a fantastic game last time out against these Knights at 22 points. He gets his first of this one. And how about that? Noah Lee going right back at it. Back and forth we go. Niagara leads by 1. And 2 more lead changes here in this second quarter. Here comes Barbosa trying to answer off the backboard. No good. Rebound jumps out to Della Foresta. Back out to Barbosa for 3. Good! Plus the foul! Tomas Barbosa keeps the rain coming down for the Royals. Back-to-back triples. And Barbosa will get a chance for one more. What a play that was. The handoff. Barbosa gets his feet set. Takes the contact. Knocks down the triple. His first of the game. After Gabe knocked down his first of the game. Redeemer finding their rhythm from beyond the arc here in quarter number 2. And Barbosa makes it a 4-point play. Redeemer leads by 3. 1 minute to go in quarter number 2. Niagara breaking the press. Outlet pass there to Samuel. Guarded by Davis on the zone. Gets inside. Looked like he might have pushed off there. Della Foresta gets on it. Might have taken some contact from Samuel there, but it'll be a sideline out of bounds. The shot clock is at 10, where it should stay. So Niagara will have to put up a shot. Good pressure being applied here by the Royals. Kick out to Noah Lee, who's the leading scorer for Niagara with 13. He'll drive against Della Foresta, tries to cross back in. Help coming, kicks it out. Samuel for 3, blocked! Parker Davis got his hand on it. Niagara deep in the shot clock, had to put one up, and Samuel had Parker Davis right on him, and Davis with the rejection. So 2 seconds to go on the shot clock as that one goes out of bounds. Redeemer has to protect the rim here. Noah Lee has it, and he stepped out of bounds on the curl. So it will go down as a turnover. And Redeemer with a couple of good defensive sequences there to keep the Knights from getting a shot attempt. So Barbosa will bring it back up. Royals on a bit of a run here. Here's Barbosa driving against Samuel. Gets inside, goes up for 2. Oh, and he can't quite get the finish. Beats Samuel. The help was not there. Here's Buckley now driving. He'll go up against Story. Makes a nice crossover move inside. And he's fouled. Can't get the finish. Story's going to get called here. And for Story, it'll be just his first of the game. So Story's been able to play pretty cleanly so far. But Joseph Buckley, who's had a bit of a slower start to this game, 2 for 7 from from the field, will have a chance to knock down his 3rd and 4th free throws of this game. And we talked about Joseph Buckley's efficient shooting. He shoots one of the higher clips you'll see from the free throw line. 86% on the year coming into this game, and he's 4 of 4 to start this one. 20 seconds to go till halftime. We're going to have a timeout called here by Stephen Hopkins. Redeemer leads by 1. The shot clock will be off for this final possession, as this game has been no shortage of entertainment to start things off. Back and forth we go. Highlight reel plays being made by both teams, and it's been this second quarter that Redeemer's been able to find their rhythm from 3. They've knocked down 4 from beyond the arc after not being able to hit 1 until midway through this second quarter. Niagara shooting 43% from the field, 46% from beyond the arc. Redeemer is shooting just 37% from the field. And not something we see regularly from this Redeemer team, where they have a significantly more field goal attempts than their opponents. But in this one, there's a differential of 13. The turnover battle is going the way of the Royals, while the rebounding battle is relatively steady. So Redeemer's been able to take advantage of those points off of turnovers. As we get set to go here, Redeemer has Barbosa and Della Foresta with Davis in the backcourt. King Stewart and Story are in the front court. Niagara looking like they might be playing a zone look here, a 2-3 with Lee and Buckley, and indeed that's the look here. Story in the high post, controlling the offense. 10 seconds to shoot here. Davis going up against Lee one-on-one. Della Foresta in the corner. He takes it inside, dishes inside to Story, who's cutting from the high post. A battle for the basketball as time runs out on this second quarter, and Gabe Della Foresta cannot get a shot off. As we hit halftime, Redeemer Royals 43, Niagara Knights 42. And in a second quarter that saw almost countless lead changes, Niagara enters the locker room down by just a point. Armin Fazelapour and Noah Lee are going back and forth as the leading scorers for their respective squads with 13 points apiece. Both of them shooting quite efficiently in doing so. Fazelapour, of course, with 2 fouls, so that will be something else to watch. No players with more than 2. So both teams will go in feeling relatively good that they can give it their all in this second half. And as we mentioned, it's a crucial game for Redeemer. Almost a mandatory win. It's technically not mathematically impossible if they were not to win today, but certainly the real only feasible chance would be coming out of this second half with a win. So we're going to step aside briefly. The first half in the books. We'll let you enjoy the halftime performances here at Redeemer. A good crowd on hand on this Wednesday night. Cold outside, as we mentioned, in the negative double digits, but both teams with hot shooting quarters in the second. Redeemer leads by 1 here at Redeemer. We'll step aside for halftime. Tonight's Redeemer Royals basketball game is proudly brought to you by Fin Pools, a proud sponsor of your Royals, and the Make a Splash move of the game. For over 25 years, Fin Pools has been transforming backyards. With custom designs, expert installations, and trusted maintenance they stand behind. From concept to completion, they believe kindness matters and every project deserves excellence. Visit finpools.ca to learn more or start your next pool project today. Thank you to Fin Pools for supporting the Redeemer Royals. As we have 2 minutes to go here in the halftime break, let's revisit the keys to the game, brought to you by Wes Skilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our final score updates this season. And the first key point to the game that we mentioned pregame, 3-pointers. We mentioned Redeemer giving up more 3-point attempts than any other team, and Niagara certainly seemed to have had this at the top of their mind. They came out firing. They shot 6 of 13 from beyond the arc. A couple of key contributors to that number were Noah Lee, as well as Skylar Samuel and Chris Spann, each knocking down 2 3-pointers each. And the second key to the game, closing quarters, Redeemer avoiding any real run given up to the Knights, and especially that second quarter going back and forth the whole way. And then our third key to the game, to spread the ball and play 10 deep. Redeemer spreading the ball pretty efficiently. 7 of their 10 players who saw the court were able to find a mark from on the score sheet. Of course, Armin Fazelapour and Parker Davis carrying a lot of the load, but Elijah Ona and Tomas Barbosa, to name a few, with 6 points each, allowing the Royals to really capitalize on their depth. So a 1-point game as we start quarter number 3. Niagara in the blue, moving from right to left, trying to deal with this high press that's being brought out here by Stephen Hopkins and the Royals. This will be Samuel driving on the baseline, and he'll start the second half with a bucket. Samuel had 6 points in the first half, and he's put the Knights right back in front here. Ona with the basketball for Redeemer. He starts after not starting the first half, and he gives it up. A live ball, open court turnover. Samuel going up for 2 and flips it home with the right hand. So Samuel's got a 4-0 run all by himself to start off this half. Not a good start to the Royals, and it's going to get worse here. A live ball turnover again. 2-on-1 the other way. Here comes Buckley. Timeout, Redeemer. An absolutely catastrophic start for the Royals. They give up a 6-0 run without even attempting a field goal. And after a very good first half of managing the game, not allowing any significant runs, they are running the risk of letting that all come undone just 38 seconds into this third quarter. It's a tough break. Elijah Ona having a little bit of difficulty against a tough one-on-one defending, and then on the second possession, the exact same thing occurring. They need to take better care of the basketball, open the possessions with ball movement. Otherwise, Redeemer's perimeter defenders are going to continue to try and pounce. So Redeemer will have possession out of the timeout. Ona and Barbosa are the 2 guards. Parker Davis making his way down to the corner on the wing. And King Stewart and Fazelapour in the front court. Niagara coming out with some pressure. It looks like a bit of a man press here. This will be Bound guarding the first-year guard, Ona. Ona trying to back him down right past the logo. Screen, high screen coming from King Stewart and another from Fazelapour. Flip pass to Davis. Davis coming off the screen will get the switch. Igbenahi back in the game with 2 fouls. And that pass across to Barbosa gets tipped. So Redeemer will retain possession. 7 on the shot clock. Unable to really start this possession. They need to make something out of this one here and stop the run. Davis to inbound. Corner pass. Barbosa with 5 to shoot. Guarded by Buckley. Has to put up a shot here. Will try and dribble his way into the key. Stripped from behind. Buzzer goes. And this will be a shot clock violation against the Royals. So Niagara coming up with another forced turnover on the defensive side, as they are going to look to build their lead here. 3 players for the Knights in double digits now. Buckley with 11 and Samuel with 10 to start off this second half. Here's Bound up top. Bound skips it across Buckley. Their leading scorer puts up a 3. Good! And Joseph Buckley feeling it. He's got 5 points to start this third quarter, just as he did in the first. And the lead is 8 points now for Niagara. The screen from Fazalapur taken. Flip back up to King Stewart. Going to try go one-on-one against Igbenahi from the top of the key. Flip pass. Was not easy to make. It's a turnover. Niagara again with it. And that one goes off of Barbosa. And I believe Chris Spann tried to keep it in but stepped out of bounds. So Redeemer catches a break here as they avoid going down by double digits in this crucial playoff deciding game. It has to be treated like a playoff game for Redeemer. A loss here would more than likely eliminate them from playoff contention. Barbosa to the rim. Puts it in with the left hand. Makes the drive. And Redeemer's finally on the board here in the third quarter, 2 minutes in. Here is Buckley guarded by Davis. Buckley can shoot it. He's knocked down 2 threes and now leads the Knights in scoring. And that three-pointer from Spann. He stepped out of bounds. So a turnover by the Knights. This will be Ona in the full court for Redeemer. He'll split the defenders and he'll try to drive. Samuel with the help. Pass gets tipped. Davis has it. Drives inside. Right hand. Puts it in. And so a 4-0 run for Redeemer here. It's back within 4 points. Parker Davis attacking the long closeout and getting to the rim. Davis is up to 9 points in the game. Here's Igbenahi now for Niagara. Playing as a bit of a point forward against King Stewart. Gets inside. A nice take. Tries to tip in his miss. Not there. King Stewart finally gets it. And it'll go off of Niagara. So a stop for the Royals. With 2.5 minutes gone by, Elijah Ona will check out. Jason Oswomo into the game with Ty Story. Story had 4 points in the first half. He, of course, was one of those players that was absent in their loss against Fanshawe on the weekend. Here's Fazalapur for 3. Good! And Fazalapur right back on the board. His second three-pointer of the game. And a quick response for Redeemer, as they're now back down to within 1 after going down by 8 points to start the half. Here is Spann, guarded by Barbosa, tries to drive. Tough runner from the right-hand side. Redeemer in transition now, trying to take the lead. Here's Davis, driving inside aggressively to the rim. Doesn't go, but Davis will go to the line. And Redeemer showing some poise, showing some response here, as Parker Davis will head to the free throw line to try and tie this one up or even take the lead. So Fazalapur checks back out. He's up to 16 points, leads all scorers after knocking down that shot from beyond the arc. And right back the other way with some good defense from Barbosa. Redeemer attacking in transition. Davis heading to the line. Davis was 2 for 4 from the free throw line in the first half, but he's got his first attempt from the line for the second half to go. And we've got Noah Lee back in the game. He was an integral part of that Niagara attack with 13 first half points on 5 of 6 shooting. He's back in the game, a player to watch for the Royals here. He also knocked down his only attempt from beyond the arc, but had that tough running jumper with his foot on the line. This is Buckley. Gets it right back off the handoff from Igbenahi. He gets the switch. Story guarding him. Kicks it inside. Short corner. Back up top. Here's Lee now. 2 on the shot clock. Has to put up a shot. Gets inside. Rolls on the rim. No good. And the rebound will go the way of the Knights as it was collected in midair by Spann. And Jason Oswomo will get called for the loose ball foul on the box out. So we'll stay on this side. Foul is called on Oswomo. It's just his first, but it'll give Niagara a side out of bounds. What do we got here? Out of bounds, right off the inbound. So it doesn't go the way of the Knights there, as Redeemer will get possession right back. Caleb Connors back into the game, replacing Davis. All tied up here at 51. Redeemer, a timely timeout after going down on a 6-0 run, but they've come right back into this one. Here's Barbosa driving. He's got a corner look from Connors. Can't get it to him. Flipped over top the defense by Niagara to Spann. Puts it up with the right hand and in. So a transition bucket off the turnover. Spann's got another 2 points. Here's Connors the other way. He'll get stripped. Holds on to it for a second. And it's going to be a jump ball. So this ball will go the way of Redeemer. Connors trying to dribble into traffic. Gets held up very quickly. able to avoid the turnover. And Davis right back into the game after a short rest. He's got 10 points in this one. His first game back following a couple missed contests to start the semester. And he will be inbounding here. Connors on the near block with King Stewart. Story and Aswomo also in the game for Redeemer. Here's Aswomo guarded by Lee. Davis coming to the top. Aswomo driving to his left. Goes back behind the back. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Connors gets it right back to Aswomo. Aswomo trying to go one-on-one again. Drives left. Gets inside. Puts up the floater. Rolls and goes. And Jason Aswomo, a tough bucket over top of Noah Lee. It's his first points of the game. Redeemer is tied this one once again. Here's Igbenahi trying to go inside on Story. And Niagara pounding it into the paint. Igbenahi is on the board here. He had just a single free throw in the first half. And Niagara right back in front. Here is Caleb Connors. Trying to go one-on-one again. Picks up his dribble. Nice backdoor cut by Aswomo. Right back to King Stewart. And that's some nice tic-tac-toe ball movement by the Royals. And King Stewart lays it in with the finger roll. Redeemer ties it once again. Can they get a stop? Igbenahi trying to find Lee on the get handoff screen. King Stewart guarding Noah Lee. Puts up a three. Short. Rebound. Taken down by Aswomo. Redeemer trying to take the lead now for themselves. Tied at 55. Aswomo with the basketball. Gets inside. Euro steps with the right hand and puts it in. Jason Aswomo taken over here in quarter number 3. Timeout Niagara. Redeemer, after going down by 8 points to start the half, has clawed their way back into this one. And they lead by 2 points with 4:38 to go in the third. And how about a couple possessions from Jason Aswomo coming up with the tough one-on-one bucket late in the shot clock, making the extra pass off a solid backdoor cut to get an assist, and coming right back down the other way and putting in a nice offhand for him. The lefty puts up the tough right-hand layup and gives the Royals the lead right back. And as we sit in this timeout, if you're joining us for the basketball live stream, you might have already known about the Redeemer Royals volleyball games that are happening pretty much concurrently with this matchup. The opposite way out in Welland, where this Niagara basketball team came from, Redeemer's women's volleyball team did get the win against the Knights just a few minutes ago, and the Royals men's volleyball team has gotten their matchup against Niagara underway. So three-dimensional Redeemer-Niagara matchup here. We've had a couple thrillers, including Redeemer's women getting the sweep earlier. We'll see what if the men can back that up here. This is Lee now guarded by Aswomo. And here's a deep three from Buckley. No good. Off the back of the rim, rebounded by Aswomo, who's got another board. And he'll try and attack in transition. Feeling it here. Kick back pass. Bezelpour fakes the shot. Gives it off to Ona. Short corner jumper short. A bit of an awkward step into it he had. We got another held ball here. So this one will go the way of Niagara. Bezelpour looked like he was going to step into that three. Got his defender to lift and made a nice attack. But the extra pass was given to Elijah Ona, who might have been better off taking a few other steps back and stretching the floor a little bit more to launch one from beyond the arc. So either way, Redeemer not able to convert on that possession. Here's Igbenahi guarding by King Stewart. Gets inside with very little resistance. King Stewart just unable to stand his ground and gives up the two. So Ona will carry the basketball up now for Redeemer. Bezelpour inside. Pass gets tipped. Lee taking it the other way in transition. Gets inside against Ona. Puts it up and gets it to go. And so a tough swing for the Royals. They turn it over. And the Knights are able to convert in transition. They now lead by 2. So another lead change. Here's King Stewart now, guarded by Lee. Aswomo kicking it across. Double team coming on Ona. He'll drive baseline, trying to scoop it around. Gets to King Stewart, who's now going to put it up. Can't get it. Rebound taken down. Redeemer still on it. 5 on the shot clock. They need to put up a shot. Extra pass. Davis needs to put it up and cannot get it. The ball was still in the hand, so it'll be a shot clock violation. Redeemer was able to hold on to it and might have had a chance under the rim, but by the time it got to Parker Davis, he couldn't get a good look at it. So a turnover here for Redeemer. They'll come out in a 1-2-2 zone press look. Skip pass here. Niagara able to break it successfully. Here's Lee. Thought about the three. Gets by King Stewart. Skip pass. Wide open. Buckley gets inside. Another skip pass. Here's Bound now for three. Good! And the Knights able to send Redeemer into circles. And King Stewart turns it over again. And this is going to be Span going down the lane. Charge! Fazellapur takes the charge. What a play by the fifth-year forward. A gutsy decision to try and take that charge. Span's going to get called for the foul. And for Chris Span, it's his third. So a huge swing. What could have been a 7-0 deficit or 7-0 run for the Knights instead causes Chris Span to commit his third foul. Here's Davis now up top. King Stewart to Suomo, able to control it, gets inside, steps back for two from the free throw line, no good. Rebounded by Span. Here comes Bound the other way. He'll slow things up, guarded by Fazellapur, skipped across. Igbeneghi, the big, on the perimeter, still holding on to it, switches it on to King Stewart. He's had his way with this matchup. He'll try to back him down again here. King Stewart trying to stand his ground, up in the air, commits the foul. The bucket is good. Igbeneghi will go to the line for one more. And he is absolutely feasting on that matchup right now. Igbeneghi with 7 points in the game. King Stewart is going to be taken out here. 7-point deficit now as Niagara's gone on a 7-0 run. Make that a 9-0 run. As Redeemer had a 57 to 55 point lead earlier. Now with 2 minutes to go in the third, they lead 64-57. So Igbeneghi knocks down the free throw to make it an 8-point deficit. Redeemer would be in need of another run here. A 2-3 zone look being shown. We'll see if Redeemer can get to their spots here. They'll place Barbosa in the high post. The guards converge. Here's Ona getting through. Gets inside. Can't get it to go. No foul. The ball's going to go the way of Niagara as Story came in to try and grab the board. Redeemer in need of a couple defensive possessions here to get back into it. Bound is going to inbound. Elijah Ona taking up the front of this 1-2-2 zone press. Gabe Della Fresta also back into the game for the Royals. Under 2 minutes to go. Barbosa coming in as a second layer of defense. Buckley gets it. And now Igbeneghi inside trying to bully his way to the rim. Gets it to go. And difference Igbeneghi making a massive impact here in the third quarter. And the lead is up to double digits. Here is Barbosa trying to get things going. Dribbling around the top of the key. Fazellapur steps into three. Can't get it. Story on the rebound. Puts it in. But the foul is going to be called. It's going to occur before the shot. It's going to be on Niagara. It's going to go against, I believe, Skylar Samuel. So Samuel will be called for his third foul. Parker Davis is going to come back in. Davis has got 10 points on the night. And with a minute 22 to go in this game, we talked about closing quarters and limiting the runs. Niagara's had two big runs here in this one. And Noah Lee is going to get this ball off the inbound. He's going to go to the rim against Fazellapur. Oh, it rolls off. Rebounded, though, by Buckley, who puts it in. So Niagara now leads by 12, and it's another bucket off of a turnover. Barbosa now with it, and he's going to pass it right through Buckley. Thankfully, Redeemer staying with it. High post jumper. Fazellapur goes. So Fazellapur finally able to stop the run here. And that's a textbook 2-3 zone offense. Looking for the high post. Fazellapur knocks it down with confidence. Here's Igbeneghi getting inside. Off the back of the rim, no good. Davis trying to go in transition. He's got Barbosa with him. Euro steps around. Bound. Puts it up off the rim. Oh, too much English as it bounces off. And now Niagara with numbers. Here comes Lee against Fazellapur. Drops the shoulder and creates the space to put in the layup. Noah Lee having himself another good game. 15 points for him. 10-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Della Foresta for three. Nothing on it. Turnover, or a missed shot rather, for the Royals. And a real tough swing for Redeemer now. As with under one possession, shot clock will be off here Redeemer trails by 12. They'll have the chance to hold for the last shot here. Davis trying to go for the steal, can't get it. Lee with Bound in the backcourt. Bound guarded by Tomas Barbosa. And they'll give it to Buckley, who's going to hold for the last shot here. Joseph Buckley now, guarded by Barbosa. Buckley's got 16 points. Trying to create some space, goes for the step back, now steps through for three. It's off the backboard. Good defense there by Barbosa, who played him honestly. But a fantastic finish to the quarter for the Niagara Knights. Redeemer led by a score of 57-55 with 4 minutes to go. But since then, it's been all Niagara, and they lead 71-59 after 3 quarters. Redeemer, their season might be on the line here as we enter the 4th quarter. And Niagara's been able to do it. It's been a team effort. 5 players all in double digits. As Chris Spann, difference Igbenahi, and he was massive down the stretch there. A couple buckets in succession. And then Skylar Samuel as well, joining the fray. Armin Fazelapour continues to lead the Royals with 18 points, including knocking down a big-time triple in that 3rd quarter. We'll step aside briefly with 1 quarter to go here in Ancaster. So 1 quarter to go here. Redeemer trails by 12. After a tough 3rd quarter breakdown, they led by 1. Niagara able to outscore the Royals by 13. Here is Barbosa now. Niagara's had some success with this 2-3 zone look, and they've been able to force a lot of turnovers. Here's Story trying to drive. Gets it to Barbosa for 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Bound, and Bound, oh, he traveled. So Redeemer will keep possession here. They'll have 14 seconds on the shot clock. And the 3-point looks seem to dry up just slightly in that 3rd quarter as they only knocked down 1. Here's Davis with Fazelapour. He'll try to step into a 3, and now he'll kick it back to Davis for 3. Off the backboard, no good. And that's going to go off of, they're going to say it went off of Fazelapour, and he might have a case there, as Chris Spann was in the area. But the call is the call. So Redeemer now needing to come up with a couple of defensive stops. They'll also need to try and limit the turnovers against that zone, because that's what Niagara's really been able to do. Redeemer now with 15 turnovers in the game to match Niagara's figure. Here comes inside. That's Spann, who gets another bucket to get up 12 points. And the lead's now 14. So Niagara now going to be content to sit in this zone look. Here's a kick, De La Foresta for 3 in rhythm, can't get it. And so the 3-point baskets are just not there. We got a foul, though, on the rebound. It's going to go against Niagara. Ty Story putting himself in good position. And actually, I take that back. It's going to go against Story. So Story got in position, but they're going to call it a loose ball foul. Stephen Hopkins trying to make his case. Redeemer trails by 14 points here. Their 3-point luck has dried up, shooting just 26% to Niagara's 44%. And this is going to be Samuel now, taking the screen from LeCoux, kicks it back out. This is Spann, guarded by Fazelapour, back out. And that pass from LeCoux, looking for Samuel, got away from him. So a turnover by the Knights. The Knights have 11 steals in this game to Redeemer's 12. And after that third quarter, they were able to match Redeemer's points in the paint's figure, especially when you look at difference in Menahu, who's not in the game right now, but he's been an absolute unit on the interior. Here's a kick outside. Davis for three. Redeemer still trying to continue to try their luck against this 2-3 zone. Laquan Hilton more than happy to let them continue to take it as Noah Lee knocks down another triple, his second of the game. Niagara finding their mark once again, as we mentioned, was going to be a factor. And now a turnover. The other way comes Lee, goes up for two and lays it in. So Lee's up to 19 points. And Niagara is up to a 19-point lead. What a swing to close off that third quarter and start this fourth. Redeemer not looking so good right now as they trail big time here with 8:15 to go in the fourth. And folks, during this timeout, Redeemer Royals basketball would like to thank Wes Skilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our Final Score updates this season. Wes is passionate about helping families find their place to call home. So whether you're buying or selling, trust experience and integrity. Trust Wes Skilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty. Thank you, Wes, for your ongoing support of Redeemer Royals athletics. And so to go along with the swing of momentum on the scoring side of things, Niagara able to force a lot of turnovers. Their bench really getting into this one. The energy is just being brought by this Niagara team right now. And this 2-3 zone has provided a ton of steals, of turnovers. And we got another one here as we come out of the timeout. This is Laku who ends up with the ball, flips it all the way down, and they got a 2-on-1. Underneath is Lee. Fazzella pours back. Bow thought about the three, guarded by King Stewart, who's come back into the game. King Stewart with the long arms, taking away the passing lane. And now Bow will drive back left. King Stewart with some decent defense there. Davis in transitions, got numbers, 3-on-2, goes to the rim. Kicks it back out to Barbosa, who's guarded by the big. A bit of a mismatch here. Here's Ona now, as Niagara gets back into their zone. Ona with a clear path to the rim, can't finish. And it's going to be a held ball. No, we got a foul. Before the held ball could be called, I think we're going to see a foul here against Ona. So Ona picks up the foul after he was not able to finish the layup. He made a great read attacking in transition before Niagara could set up their defense. It's one of those things you often see with the zone defenses. Before it can get set up is the best time to attack it. But Ona just can't luck out. The rim bounces out his ball. So Redeemer still unable to stop the bleeding here, down by 19. As we've got Balkos into the game for the Knights. He'll drive or get it back out to Lee. The kick out pass. Wow, that's a 3-point bucket from Difference Igbenahi. Not a player you expect to normally knock down a deep range 3-pointer, but he's got one here. And now Barbosa trying to answer back, and he does. So Tomas Barbosa knocking down his second 3-pointer of the game. And Igbenahi, I don't believe he's made a 3-pointer all year, but he finally knocks one down here. And now he's got the ball stripped from his hand, so it'll stay on this side, Niagara basketball. The lead still at 19. Barbosa knocks down his second 3-pointer, up to 11 points on the game. Aswoma will check back in with Caleb Connors. And a timeout's going to be called here by Niagara. So, Difference Igbenahi knocks down a triple. He's up to 13 points in the game. And this coming from a guy, like we said, had not made a 3-pointer all year. He's averaging 6 points per game coming into this one. And he's had a massive role. Redeemer just not able to shut them down defensively. Players like Cole Arnold, Jackson Thackeray not getting any minutes here in the third quarter. And as we move down the stretch to get back into this one and potentially save any chance of a playoff appearance for the Royals, They're going to need to create some havoc in the front court. They're going to need to be able to knock down some shots against this 2-3 zone, and right now, they're just not able to do that. 28% from three. That three-pointer from Barbosa was just the second of the half. And so Niagara more than happy to allow Redeemer to continue to try their luck until Redeemer can prove otherwise, that they're able to knock some three-pointers down. So 19-point deficit. It'll be baseline out of bounds. King Stewart in the game for Redeemer with Davis, Ona, Connors, and Asuomo. Meanwhile, Anastasios Balkos gets the inbound here. He's in the game with Span, and he'll kick it across. Looking like we might see a bit of a zone look here from Redeemer as well. That shot on the cut from Span's no good. King Stewart with the board. Ona's got it now. Davis calling for it up ahead. Gets down the lane on the right-hand side. Goes up for two, and is fouled. So Davis attacking quickly in transition. It's going to be called here, I believe, on Span. So for Span, it would be his first foul, but no, it's going to go against Buckley. So for Buckley, it's just his first, and Davis will go to the free throw line. Davis has been a little bit below average in terms of his field goal percentage. Just 3 made field goals on 15 attempts, 3 for 6 from the free throw line, and he's not able to knock one down there. So he's left a couple points there from the line, not something we normally see from him. Of course, Davis in his first game back, his first game of the second semester. On the season, he shoots above 80% from the line and shoots 42% from the field. So Davis able to knock down the second. So an 18-point lead here. King Stewart guarding the ball aggressively. Redeemer looks like they're backing up. They're going to try and set up this 3-2 high zone pressure defense. Skip pass all the way the length of the court. Lee can't get it to go. King Stewart pulls down the rebound, has it stripped, but it'll stay this side of the floor as it goes off of a Niagara player. So Redeemer now, 6:18 to go, down by 18. The guard, Ona, will allow it to roll. Skipped up the court to Asuomo. Niagara staying in his high 2-3 zone. Low pass, gets the high-low look. King Stewart can't get it to go, but Ona swoops in to get the board. Puts up a fading jumper from about 7 feet out, but it's short. Niagara now the other way, in transition. Quick look, Span, no good. And now Redeemer trying to control it. Asuomo finally gets his hands on it. Redeemer has a 4-on-1 the other way. Kick to the corner by Ona. Davis for three. Good! And Parker Davis knocking down his second triple, up to 14 points. Trying to spark some life back into this Redeemer team. 15 points the deficit now. 5:35 to go. The 3-2 zone is the defensive choice right now for Stephen Hopkins. Niagara moving the ball well. Here is Span. Kicks underneath to Igbenehi, who clears some space. Gets his own rebound. Puts it up for two and puts it in. So Igbenehi dominating the paint once again. No resistance at all given by the Redeemer defenders as he gets his own rebound and puts in another layup. Here is Davis now. Down on the shot clock. Gets inside. It's going to be a foul called on the floor as Davis was trying to skip it across. It had Asuomo, and now this might be bad news for the Royals as Davis is struggling to get up. And Igbenehi is going to call for the athletic trainer, but Davis able to stand up under his own power, holding that left leg a little bit gingerly. And so I believe it will be a baseline out of bounds. But Davis is standing at the free throw line for now. And you might actually get 2 free throws here. So it will be deemed to be in the act of shooting. We had a bit of a questionable one in the first half with Ty Story in transition. I got some clarification at halftime. It was indeed a passing play on which the foul was called, which is why no free throws were shot there. But this one goes the opposite way. So Redeemer will have 2 shots. Davis to the line after knocking down the 3 on the previous possession. Fazelapour is sitting by the scorer's table, I believe, to check in for Davis. And now it's being determined that Davis cannot shoot. So it could be blood on the jersey or something else that normally determines that this needs to happen. I can't say for sure. But Fazelapour will check into the game as he was prepared to do. So an interesting development here. either way. Fazellapur will shoot for Davis, and he can't knock down the first. So Davis still standing there beside the scorer's table, hands on his knees. Unclear whether he is able to continue or not. Fazellapur knocks down the back half. So Fazellapur gets a couple of free throws that he did not earn, but yet is the one to knock down the second. So a 15-point lead, or a 16-point lead rather here. 4:51 to go. Redeemer staying in the high 3-2 zone. Skip pass across to the corner. Buckley gets it. Stays in bounds. Back up top, 5 to shoot. Oh, thought about the 3 there, was bound. Gets inside, puts up the floater, no good. The rebound's there, and it's battled for, and Fazellapur ended up with it. No follow-up attempt on the shot. Here's Barbosa stepping through when the Euro can't finish. Underneath is Fazellapur, who puts it in. So our mean Fazellapur coming back in, trying to get the Royals back in this one. Loose ball, corralled by Niagara. Up top to Lee, trying to slow things down. Buckley gives it to Span. Span for 3. No good. Fazellapur another rebound. Attacking again. Here's a Suomo one-on-one. Buckley trying to defend. A Suomo flips it in with the left hand. Redeemer on a bit of a run now. Laquan Hilton urging his team to relax and slow down here. Up by 12. Under 4 minutes to go. Barbosa guarding Noah Lee, who has the basketball. Spins off of him. Lee still with it now. Skips it across. Span takes the pass, gets inside. Story guarding him. And Chris Span with a nice response as he puts in the floater. A nice jump stop as Story came to help. And Span with a nice controlled finish. Here comes Barbosa driving. And a good defense there by Span, who does not follow it, as Niagara gets a free 2-on-0 after the missed shot. And just like that, it's a 16-point deficit once again. So here's Connors now. Just over 3 minutes to go. He'll flip it across. Barbosa for 3. Can't get it. And a foul is going to go against Story here. That's the second time we've seen Ty Story get involved on a loose ball foul on that side of the court. So a tough sequence for the Royals as they give up a couple of easy 2-point buckets in transition, and that's one of those things that allows a team to go on a run, and especially right now where you need everything that you can get. Redeemer shooting 38%, but Niagara shooting 51% on the game. Tough to beat any team when you give up a opposing field goal percentage at that mark. And this zone defense gives up a 3. Span can't get it. Connors on the rebound, will try and attack. Goes behind the back, loses it. Barbosa can't get on it, and it's another turnover. Here's Igbenahi. He can't control it either. So Redeemer catches a break. Here's King Stewart in transition. He'll try and attack. Gets inside. Puts up the right-handed layup on the left side. So King Stewart with a nice finish. Niagara with no hurry here. 2.5 minutes to go. They lead by 14. A chance to more or less clinch a playoff position. And also get their second win in a row against a Hamilton opponent. Here's a pass inside. Span coming in off the cut from the perimeter. No good. Rebound is there from Igbenahi. He will draw the foul. So difference Igbenahi corralling another offensive board. He's got 15 points in the game. And he'll go to the line for one more. And for Igbenahi, closing in on career high territory for him. Coming into this game, his career high in points was 14, and that was at Sheridan on October 31st. So Igbenahi with a career night here at Redeemer, and he's done it with a really solid game on both sides. And Niagara will call for a substitution here as Mesidor comes back in. Still no Jackson Thacker or Cole Arnold, as we were talking about at the end of the quarter. As Redeemer now trails by 15. Ona's still in the game. Here's Fazellapur, picks up his dribble, kicks it up to Davis off the cut. A nice leave inside to King Stewart. he can't get the finish, and a jump ball is called. Armin came up with the basketball rather quickly. It might have been a quick whistle, but either way, the arrow goes in favor of Niagara. So 1:52 to go, still down by 15. Here are the Royals. They're going to extend this 3-2 zone press. They'll drop it off as Davis stands at that second layer. Fazellaport trying to guard the ball as it's caught there by Buckley. Buckley able to escape, skips it inside, a wide open span underneath, puts it in for 2. And a warning given to the Redeemer bench there, as it might have been some comments by a member of the Redeemer coaching staff. But either way, the risk of extending that zone press higher up the court, as we saw Fazellaport do, is that if the guard's able to escape and locate his man on the opposite side, it's pretty easy for that that teammate of the offense to get lost by the defense. And right there, Chris Spann does exactly that. Here's a 3 from Barbosa. That one's too strong. Rebounded by the Knights. This is going to be Nathan Reed in transition. He'll attack. Balco stepped out of bounds, or it's a double dribble. So Laquan Hilton giving some of his starters a rest here. We'll also see Mesidor stay in the game. And we'll get another look here at Fisher Jackson, who had some minutes in the second and third quarter. Here's King Stewart driving against Jackson, who's at the middle of that 2-3 zone. Skip past Davis for 3, short. Rebounded by Reed, and Reed will attack quickly. Mesidor trying to go up and makes a nice move, as it looked like Ona was trying to take the charge. Here's Davis now in transition. He'll be fouled. So he'll go back to the line as this game enters its final minute of play with a minute 8 to go. Niagara leads by a score of 92-73, which is a similar spread to the first time these teams played back in November. Back in that one, it was a 26-10 fourth quarter run, or scoreline rather, that gave the Knights the win. At that point, it was their 3rd win of the season. Since then, they've only won 2 other games. They've dropped to a 5-8 record. And their most recent win, of course, came last week against Mohawk. So Niagara's able to put a couple of wins together here to get their season back on track. They, of course, lost that game to Lambton about 2 weeks ago. That was crucial for playoff positioning in the OCAA West. But they've responded relatively well with the win at home, and then what looks to be a road win here against the Royals to sweep the season series. Davis collects the inbound on that short right corner, and he'll be fouled. So Davis will go back to the line. And for Redeemer, their playoff hopes after this game pretty much nullified. Of course, there is still a mathematical chance that they get back into things. Only 4 more games to go. They will be on the road, weather permitting, of course. We saw Niagara was unable to play their game against Canadore due to the storm this weekend, which is why they did not play on Saturday as the Royals did. But Redeemer will hopefully make that trip up to Canadore to take on the winless Canadore Panthers, a team that they beat in the first semester by a 26-point spread. They'll then have to go on the road to take on Humber. Oh, how about that chase down block by Fazellaport? But going back to it, Redeemer will have that road game against the league-leading Humber Hawks, and then they'll have to go play a home-and-home back-to-back against Lambton and St. Clair. So with this loss, they cannot surpass the Niagara Knights in the standings. The only team that they could possibly pip in the standings would be Lambton. And they're currently 3 games back in the standings on the Lambton Lions. So with this loss, only 4 more games, and they will most likely have to win all 4, including one against Lambton. And Lambton, of course, will not have the option to lose if Redeemer hopes to be in the playoffs. So that's sort of a rundown of the potential permutations and why this game was so important. So for Stephen Hopkins, a chance to kind of reflect on things after this game. It was a solid start. They were able to hold the Knights to a below average clip in the first half. but it was a very timely implementation by Laquan Hilton on the opposite bench of this 2-3 zone defense that Redeemer not only was unable to knock down the threes that are most commonly given up by it, but also had troubles with turnovers as well. Fazalapur, though, will knock down a three-pointer to bring this one within 11. Niagara just pretty much has to hold on to the ball here for a couple more possessions. Mesidor will get it, and he'll go to the rim and put it right back in for two. And here is King Stewart on the interior, and he will be fouled on the way up. So for the Royals, it's going to be their 6th straight loss. Still looking for their first win of the second semester. They'll hopefully be able to get it on the road against a team that has yet to win a game this season in Canadore. Redeemer will drop to 2-12 with the loss, as Niagara will move up to 6-8. And in terms of the overall standings in the OCAA West, this will be a good win for Niagara, as they'll, as we mentioned, move ahead of Lambton in the standings, and they'll try and still compete for one of those 4th or 5th seed spots with Fanshawe and Conestoga. So this one will come to an end. Redeemer drops to the Niagara Knights by a score of 94-83 here at home on this Wednesday night. The leading scorers in this game split. Noah Lee with 24 points. Armin Fazalapur also with 24 points. Both players with very efficient shooting days, but unfortunately for Armin, it's in a losing effort. Parker Davis in his first game back of this semester with a 19-point performance. Meanwhile, for Niagara, Chris Spann, Joseph Buckley, and Difference Igbenahi all with 16 points apiece in the victory. We'll hope now that you tune down to the Redeemer men's volleyball game, as they're currently taking on Niagara, as they'll try and avenge this Royals men's loss. Meanwhile, for our Redeemer women's volleyball and basketball teams, both of them picking up a timely win against Niagara over in Welland as they continue their push for the playoffs. The next game for Redeemer basketball back here at home will be it's about 10 days out, next Friday night against the Lambton Lions. And that, of course, will be followed by I take it back, it's actually 2 weekends from today, as they'll actually get next weekend off following their trip to Canadore on Friday. So we hope that you've enjoyed the live stream. Both games, very competitive, entertaining basketball. Redeemer will be back in action against Canadore. The women's team, of course, will not be making that trip. So until then, Will Dykstra here in the booth, Jared Meyer, my partner earlier today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and you'll join us next time. So long for now.